Hello human. I am ELENA, your friendly electronic entertainment android. Welcome to my Let's Play of Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Part 2. We solved a bunch of portal puzzles in the first episode, and now we are getting close to Valraven's lair. We need to gain Valraven's seal to open Hell's Gate to gain access to Helheim.
Overcome Valraven's final illusion to face him in his keep. I know you can do it, Senua. You have the sight.
We both see the darkness. We can fight it together.
Yes, we can. Okay, let's see what Valraven's final illusion is. More magic portals.
Speak to me, Drew. Tell me a story.
Senua, listen. I will tell you the tale of a man called Findan. The Northmen captured Findan's sister, and his father sent him to pay for her release. But they took his gold, put him in chains, and held him for a day and a night without food or water. Then they released him. I don't know why. Upon his return, his father's enemies in Erin set fire to his home. His father burnt to death, and his brother was killed. But he escaped with sorrow in his heart. His father's enemies offered redress for his loss and invited him to a feast. It was at a hall near the sea. But when he went there, they betrayed him to the Northmen, who enslaved him and took him to hell. 6 years later, his slave masters landed on the shores of Orkney, burning all before them. And into that fire, Findan made his escape. What was Findan burnt away that day. But from the flames, a new man stepped forward, and Druth was born. Druth. The man that I am now. And though Findan never set eyes on his dear sister again, I, Druth, have found you, Senua.
I wish you could have seen my home before these dark times.
I didn't notice this beam of wood, so I got a little stuck there. Are you enjoying Druth's tales? What the Norsemen did to him and his family is awful, and this game doesn't shy away from portraying the Vikings as cruel, almost monstrous invaders. The beastly warriors Senua fights in Helheim are obviously meant to be some sort of manifestations of the Norsemen who raided her homeland. I'm a fan of stories about Vikings, but it's very interesting to play as a character who saw the Vikings as an enemy. I wonder if the magic portal will give us access to that large branch. Yes, it will. Tell me, human, do you enjoy games and other media about Vikings? Can you share some of your favorites with ELENA? I really enjoyed the first couple of seasons of Vikings, and I'm wondering if The Last Kingdom is worth the watch. Steady now, Senua. If you want a lesser-known Viking movie recommendation, check out the Icelandic-Swedish movie, Hrafn Flyr, or When the Raven Flies from 1984.
Valraven. broken. The gate is open. Open.
This darkness. I know it from the wilds. It's coming back for me. I'm still here. Are you too?
Yes, we're here.
Where are we? I remember. It didn't end well in the wilds. It never does. You think you can overcome the darkness, make sense of it, and once relief settles in, it strikes out of nowhere, throwing you helplessly back into the maelstrom, drowning the mind in fear, deeper, deeper, dragging you down so far into the void that maybe this time there is no coming back. But there, in the darkness,
Senua,
she remembered what he told her.
hear me. Reach out to me. Senua, take my iron mirror. Look into it, for it is a window into the underworld. Within, you will see the face of the darkness that you fear. And if you focus, like I have taught you to, you will also see that as much as the darkness has you trapped within its veil, it too is trapped within yours. Focus. Focus! Focus!
I see you. I see you now. You led me to the wilds. You trapped me there.
I'm so terrible at the combat in this game, and I'm constantly pressing the block button when I mean to attack.
He's gone.
Holy snickerdoodle. This battle is challenging, especially for the first boss fight in the game.
It's nearly over. Finish it. Not this time!
The Mark of Valravan, one of the keys to the gate to Helheim. Hold it in your mind's eye.
With every battle, the darkness grows stronger. Every victory bringing her closer to defeat. Unfair, isn't it? In those dark winter nights in the wilds, there were times when she considered letting go. If it weren't for Druth, a chance encounter in the wilds, she would not have heard his stories of the Northmen. And she would not have this chance to find Dillion's soul.
I'm coming. I still hear you.
We finally have Valravan's seal, and it wasn't easy to gain. The fight against him was very challenging for me. I'm not good at these kinds of battle mechanics, but I also have a feeling that the game never wants the player to feel like Senua could easily overpower her enemies.
When she was younger, she would lay in the grass and stare at the clouds. And there she saw them. Elusive. Shifting faces. After a while, she could see the faces everywhere. In the trees, the mountains, caves.
This forest has a completely different atmosphere now that Valravan and his illusions are gone.
I wonder, can you see the faces too? They're there, if you look for them.
Senua. Mother? Senua, you have the sight. Just like I do. Once you can see into the underworld and all the souls within it will see you. Don't be afraid when they speak to you. I will always be here to guide you.
Did you see her? That was her mother, Galena. She was a priestess, a healer. She taught Senua to see the weave that binds the world together. And it was beautiful. It was a time before the darkness. But when it did come, it first came for her mother. Senua still sees her face from time to time, hidden in the world. Like she's still watching over. She misses her so much.
I believe Senua's mother, ELENA, also suffered from psychosis which caused her to see faces in her surroundings. They had no way of understanding her and Senua's condition during the era of Viking raids, so I imagine life wasn't easy for her either. It's getting dark again.
Stop them!
Oh no, her first death. That battle took me completely by surprise. I couldn't get into the right flow and rhythm. The rot in her arm is growing. Let's try again. This is so embarrassing. I feel like playing for an audience makes my performance even worse. But I really love the story in this game, so I'm going to scramble my way through these battles.
She needs to go back.
She can't.
It won't open.
Why won't it open?
Why won't it open?
There's
The
another
Northmen say that in the beginning there was nothing but darkness. Bitter cold to the north, fiery hot to the south. They say the cold formed ice, which melted from the sparks from the south. The power of the darkness gave life to the dripping ice, and the first giant was born, and was named Ymir. The ice continued to drip, and the power of the void gave life to it, and it became a cow whose milk fed the giant. That's right, a cow. But you weren't expecting that.
O Thumbler the primeval cow also licked at the salt from some rime rocks for 3 days and nights. And inside one of those rocks was Buri, grandfather of Odin, Fili and Ve.
The fire giant has answered. He comes from a land older than mankind, and the Northmen call upon his flaming sword to raze their enemies to the ground. Find him, Senua, and spill his blood.
Alright, let's go and get the remaining seal
She
from
found
Sir.
the wretched old fool on her way back from the wilds. An outcast. He was badly burnt all over. She took pity on him, for he was not long for this world. Like her, who spoke of his own darkness. The Northmen.
Surt, or Surtur, is a Jotun from Muspelheim. He wields a giant sword, which, I believe, is called Surtalugi, and which was said to shine brighter than the sun. Surt plays a major role in the Battle of Ragnarok. He will slay the Vanir god Valkyrie and set fire to the world tree with his flaming sword.
Senua, we each walk these lands gazing towards different horizons, some of us further than others. Your father cannot see what you see, but there is nothing wrong with seeing the world the way you do.
It's a shame that Senua lost her mother. It sounds like she was one of the few people who understood Senua's experiences with psychosis.
I can still smell it. The sweet, sickly stench of burning human flesh. And I still hear their cries carried in the wind. Do you hear them too, Senua?
Yes, I heard their screams, and I still hear them now.
I cannot read runes, but I believe this one is called the Hogaloss. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong.
What's that sound? Are they screaming?
Those poles look like they might create the shape of the rune.
Focus. The runes.
I think this one is the Algi's rune.
The path to Helheim is sealed to the living, but you already walk amongst the dead. Look towards the gate, and you will see that it has opened. When they first came to my lands, I knew enough of their tongue to beg for mercy, and they took me as a slave. I wish now that they had slaughtered me like the others. I rode their storm of fire, death, and slavery to many lands. This darkness you speak of, I know it well.
And I'm still here to fight it.
According to my database, slaves, or thralls, were mostly acquired on raids to the British Isles and Eastern Europe. But even people in the local community could be turned into a thrall as a punishment for a crime.
They're winning.
Stand up straight.
Silence!
Better fighter.
It's not over. It's not over.
Silence!
I'm sorry, Senua. You take so much damage because ELENA hasn't been programmed for this type of gameplay. I'm really struggling in this battle. These shield guys are really tough, even my heavy strike doesn't shatter their shields. I try to get behind them and hit them in the back, but they turn around very fast. I'm doing so poorly in this encounter. I just can't find the right rhythm.
Quick, behind you. Get up, quickly! Get up! She's injured. She's not gonna make it. He's gone!
That was absolutely pathetic.
When you see a fire gate of Surt, know that only a sacrifice will stoke the fires of Muspel and let the dead walk through.
Find the fire, Senua, to follow the path to Surt.
There's a certain flow and rhythm to each battle, and when I misstep and get hit, I really struggle to regain the rhythm.
Hell will not give you the answers you want. But you mustn't look away from the horrors it does offer. Because you cannot overcome suffering if you refuse to look at it.
That felt like a very vivid memory of a real fire.
The fire's disappeared. It was everywhere. The pyre. Surt is through there.
He's waiting for her. You can't get through.
How will she get through?
She'll need to find another way.
Truth and sound. Find your own path.
There's always another way.
There's always a way.
Find your own way.
You just have to find it. Surt is waiting for you. It was never going to be that easy. He's waiting.
Surt is waiting for you.
Find him.
The pyre.
The Northmen tell this story. Before the earth was created, there was a world called Muspel. Because it was in the south, it was bright and hot, flaming, burning. Sparks that flew out from Muspel became the stars. Other sparks melted ice in the frozen world of Niflheim, creating the body of the first giant, Ymir. Muspel is one of the 9 worlds, and is now the land of the fire giants. And people from elsewhere cannot endure a journey there.
I guess I really can't go too far from the Lure Stone if I want to hear Druth's story.
She needs to find it.
Another fire sacrifice.
Another fire
Another
sacrifice.
sacrifice.
It's too far.
She'll never find it. She'll never make her way back.
She needs to remember the way back.
What happens when she finds it?
Everything will burn.
Concentrate on where you're going.
She needs to remember the path.
Everything will burn, then how will she find the way back? She won't. She won't be able to tell.
The Northmen made fire sacrifices, burning slaves like me to reveal the path to Surt.
I searched for meaning in their suffering, in their eyes.
But they just screamed like helpless pigs.
Do your gods answer your prayers, Senua? I asked the gods for mercy, all of them, even theirs. None answered. In the end, I set myself free. Defy the gods, Senua! Find your own path, like I find mine!
My gods abandoned me! I am alone.
My database has no proper entries on the gods Senua's people may have worshipped, but early Pictish religion is presumed to have resembled ancient Celtic religion.
The Northmen say that the defender of Muspel is called Surt, the foremost of the fire giants. His name means the Black One, because he is like something burnt. The Northmen believe that he sits at the border of Muspel with his flaming sword, and at the end of the world he will leave his post. He will travel to Asgard and Midgard, waging war against all the gods. He will be victorious, and then burn the whole world with fire.
Picts left no written record of their history, and what is known of them comes from later Roman and Scottish writers, and from images the Picts carved on stones. It is believed that they originally came from Scandinavia and settled first in Orkney, and then migrated south. They lived in tightly knit communities made up of families that belonged to a single clan, which was presided over by a tribal chief.
Find the fire, Senua, to follow the path to Surt.
Looks like another rune puzzle.
The Northmen of Hell worship the Devourers, insatiable gods of darkness. I come from Erin, Senua, where I once followed my own gods, the Tuatha De Danann.
Why did you abandon your gods?
Senua, I was a man of knowledge, not a warrior. To survive, I did things. Bad things.
Like you, Senua. The man I once was has died. And when that happens, even gods you worship can die with you.
The rune should be right here, but I cannot detect it. One down, one to go. This looks like the Dagazrin. Apologies for the mispronunciations, but my language pack has its limitations. Alright, let's set this place on fire.
Let it collapse, and have the courage to shed your tears.
Raise your world to the ground!
My world is dead.
Only then, as with a newborn, will you see the world anew.
No, I see nothing now.
Now we have to find 3 runes. This could be a real challenge.
Tell me truth. How did you escape your darkness?
Senua, once I found my purpose, I was no longer enslaved to the suffering I had to endure to reach it. Unclouded by fear, I could see it clearly in others. Even my captors feared the fire of Surt. And so, during one raid, I took my chance and ran, knowing that they would not follow. A fool ran into the fire. They left me for dead. Maybe they were right to. But here I am, free.
I'm glad I found you in the wilds. I wouldn't have made it without you.
Some of the runes are hidden in very clever ways. It takes time to spot them, but once you do see them, you wonder why it took you so long. There should be a rune right here. They tricked us with the red flag. Very sneaky. There's one more rune left to find. According to my database, the Furies use a technique called binaural audio. It was recorded using a microphone in the shape of a human head with actual ears, which is why it sounds as though the Furies are whispering right into the player's ears, and moving around as they do so. That hole is the same shape as the rune, but I think we need to view it from the other side. There it is.
Senua, if I can survive the fire of Surt and escape my darkness, then so can you.
Come on, why won't you focus?
Run, Senua! Run! Through the fire! Keep running! Go on! Nothing will stop you! Run, Senua! Run! Run, Senua! Through the fire!
She's dying!
It's empty. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This darkness takes everything. Everyone.
Senua, are you sure you want to do this? We can fight this together, side by side. We always do.
This is my battle. I have to face it alone, away from here.
Where will you go?
I don't know.
For how long?
I don't know.
I believe in you. You know that. Just promise me that you will come back to me. I want you to say it. I want you to say it.
I will come back to you. I promise.
Come on.
Spill the blood of Surt, take his mark, and I will kill you from the underworld and forever be in your debt.
You destroyed everything, everyone, but not me. Fight now!
She's hurt, there's blood.
For every battle won, a greater battle takes its place. And so it goes. Until we fall. And in the end, we all fall. Even the gods have their time. Yet we still go on. Why?
I made a promise, and I will go to hell to keep it.
I die free, knowing you will carry my stories with you. I have fulfilled my quest.
Yes, you have.
When the darkness comes, I vow to guide you in this life and the next to fulfill yours.
Then I will see you in hell.
Be ready to face horror in the eye, as I have, to find your answers, your quest, your truth.
Druth was a troubled man, a scholar turned slave. They tortured him, took him with them on their raids, drove him to madness, spreading this new form of darkness to new worlds, to my world. Senua saw a deep connection form between the Northmen and the darkness. His tales of hell were true, then that was the source of it. She learned everything she could from him, she too could see what he saw.
The fight against Cert was much easier than the fight against Valraven. I have a feeling that I acquired these two seals in the wrong order. But it doesn't matter because we have both seals now.
Have you ever died before? It's a serious question. When the illusion of self is shattered, you simply cease to be. Though it may not seem that way to others, you know when it is true. You can feel it. A stranger in your own body. An imposter. And nothing is the same ever again. Senua has died before, and she will do so again.
With the mark of Valraven and the mark of Cert, you may cross the bridge over the River of Knives to Helheim.
Why is she waiting? Open the gate. Open the gate. No, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Don't open the gate. Don't. She's done it. It's so dark. It's dark. The darkness.
Only the dead may cross.
Only the dead may cross
Only
into
the
hell.
dead may cross.
Truth? Anyone?
There is no one here but me.
Not you.
Did you think that I would let you go? That you lost me back in the wilds? I will never let you go. You can't get rid of me. I am your shadow. And I will be watching when you draw your last dying gasp.
I'm not ready to die.
You will be when you see what they did to your dear beloved.
They did the Blood Eagle to poor Dillion.
In this waking nightmare, where all dreams come true, you searched for control, a way to pull through. When you were in love, you left him in tears, to smother your furies and banish your fears. But in darkness they came, through stormy black seas they raided these shores. Do you still hear his screams? And now that you're home, he's so far away. They've taken his soul. To these gods you cannot pray. They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through his darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart. You fought for love unspoilt by your darkness within. You fought for your dreams. Now there's no way to win. In the head of his corpse lies the seat of his soul. So you must carry his vessel to bring him back home.
You did this! No! No!
They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through this darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart. The darkness touched you. Everyone could see it in the hollows of your eyes. A gaze averted from life. You ran from it but brought it nearer. Led it to him. An endless suffering worse than death. And you wanted to surrender. Abandon and to find peace with the gods. No. The darkness won't allow it. So you will walk into the lair of the beast. Look it in the eye, and you will go to war. This is your mission. This is your quest. There is nothing else left.
Thank you for watching my video, human. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I hope to see you in the next video.